Once upon a time, there lived a little girl with beautiful golden blonde hair that she kept in pigtails. She had the happiest of smiles and was always running about, giggling, making friends, and playing with everyone. Her name was Mary. Every summer she would travel to the mountains of Montana and stay with her family in a little wooden cabin that her grandfather had built. Near the cabin was a creek where her grandfather had once mined for gold. The camp was a wild place where moose, bears, and mountain lions roamed freely. As soon as Mary arrived at the cabin each summer, she would open the door of the car and race down the dirt path that led to the creek. There she would stand in the bright sun and look around her. She was back at the place she loved the most. This was her true home. At night, when she fell asleep under the warm quilt on her bed, she would have dreams of walking through the fields and forests near the camp. She would see all kinds of animals, big and small. In one dream she saw an enormous moose with a calf munching on the grass in the field behind her cabin. Mary slowly walked up to the moose, who was twice as tall as she was. When she was only a few feet away, she looked up to the moose and said, "Hi, my name is Mary. How are you?" The moose looked down at Mary, not knowing who this little girl was or why she had walked up to him and spoken in a language he did not understand. But he did know that she was someone who was happy and kind and who could be trusted. The moose bent his head down so that it was only a few inches from Mary's face. He looked her right in the eye. He held his head motionless for the longest time, just to show that he trusted her. Mary also stood there for a few moments, looking back at the moose and smiling. Then she gave him a big kiss right on the nose. He softly nudged her forehead and went back to eating his lunch. Mary woke up that morning and remembered her dream about the moose. She knew this was going to be a good day. After a breakfast of pancakes and maple syrup, she spent the morning playing down by the stream and collecting rocks. She collected sticks and leaves and made little houses on the sand beside the stream. She watched the birds fly among the trees and listened to their songs. After an hour or two, Mary had a strange sensation. She felt like someone was watching her. She looked all around but saw no one. She was certain she was alone, but she was just as certain that someone or something was watching her. Ahem! Mary looked around to see who was talking. There was no one. Ahem! It sounded like the voice came from above her. She looked up, but all she saw was the bright sun. She squinted her eyes. Sorry, you really should not look at me. Do me a favor and just look at the ground. We can still talk, just don't look at me. Mary was very confused. She asked, "Who is talking?" Isn't it obvious? I'm the sun. Son of who? Mary asked. I'm not the son of anybody. I am the sun. Huh? The sun can't talk, Mary said defiantly. Oh, yes, I can. But I only talk to special people. People I really, really want to talk to. You want to talk with me? Asked Mary. Yup. Because you are special. Because you have one of the prettiest smiles in the whole world. Don't be silly, Mary replied. I'm being completely serious. When I see you smile, it makes me feel all warm inside. Wait a second, she interrupted. You are like a billion gazillion degrees hot. How can I make you feel warm? Because you make me feel good. When you smile, it brightens up my day. You love this earth, and you love your friends and family in a very special way. It makes me happy. Well, thank you, said Mary, and of course she smiled at all the compliments from the sun. She was pretty sure that when she smiled, the sun seemed to shake like she was giggling. After a few more minutes, the sun said, Well, I have to go. It's getting to be time for me to set below the horizon. I must go to the other side of the earth and spread my light there. It's been nice talking with you." And with that the sun slowly disappeared. Every day after that, Mary would walk down to the stream and say, "Good morning," to the sun. And every time she did, the sun seemed to say, "And good morning to you." The summer eventually came to an end, and Mary went back to her home in Oregon. As the years passed, Mary thought less and less about her conversation with the sun. She took it for granted that the sun always seemed to show up every day. Maybe he hid behind the clouds, but she always knew he was there. Mary became a young woman with her own family and a job teaching art in college. She had a daughter and then grandchildren. She made many friends and loved them all very much. One day, many years later, as she was walking alone along the shore at Stinson Beach, she heard a strange yet familiar sound. Ahem! Mary turned around, expecting to see someone behind her, but saw no one. Then she remembered that day back in Montana when she was a child. She looked up. "Yes, it's me. And for Pete's sake, stop looking at me." Mary looked down at the sand. "We haven't talked in a long time," said the sun. "Did you forget about me?" "Of course not," replied Mary. Then she hesitated. "Well, maybe a little." "That's all right. You have had a very active and interesting life. I can understand that you may have forgotten about the conversation we had a long time ago, and I bet you hadn't noticed." "Noticed what?" asked Mary. "Every morning I wake up and rise in the east. The first thing I do when I get above the horizon is look for you. Bet you didn't know that." "Were you following me?" asked Mary. "Oh, no, I didn't have to. You bring me wherever you go. Your friends love you for it. When you come into their homes, you bring a little light, a little of me, and their lives are better for it. No, I don't follow you. Whether you know it or not, you always invite me in. And you know what's even better? You taught your grandchildren to love me, to love the light. That is the greatest gift anyone can give. You could not have made me happier." While this is where we will conclude the story of Mary and the sun, do remember that it really has not ended. For every morning the sun will rise in the east no matter what happens. The light will always be there.